The Impact segment tonight, how are the Serbs here in America feeling about the military action? With us now is Dr. Michael Pravica from the Serbian-American Alliance of New York. Doctor is a PhD in physics. What do you think?
Well, I'm very disappointed with our government's actions in the Balkans. I feel that there were so many other options that could have been performed before bombing. I think that bombing is absolutely illegal from any perspective. The UN has not sanctioned it. It is a violation of national sovereignty, and we have interfered in the internal matters of a sovereign nation and a civil war.
When you say there were other options, you got the Serbian army and the police force moving across into Kosovo, burning villages, doing what they do. I don't understand what an option is here. Now, if they're in the middle of this action and civilians are getting hurt, what is America supposed to do?
Well, first of all, you have to realize that civilians have been hurt on all sides, that Kosovo does not only have Albanians. It has, and by estimates, 400,000 non-Serbs of the order of Gypsies, Turks, Egyptians, for example, who live there, most of whom support the Yugoslav government. And the problem is that there have been casualties on all sides, atrocities on all sides, yet we generally don't hear about those in the American media. So unfortunately, I don't have enough time to correct all of the misunderstandings that have been presented in this conflict. But let me say that there are atrocities on all sides being committed, and what the West has done with Rambouillet, for example, the effort to generate a peace agreement, is that they are giving all sticks to the Serbs, but no carrots. It's not in their best interest right now.
Let's walk through it.
Yeah.
You would admit, though, that the Serbian army is the most powerful army in the region, right?
Yes.
Okay.
With the exception of NATO.
Which is in the region. NATO's not in the region. I mean, they are now, but the Serbian army overwhelmingly is the most powerful army in the region. They've had a lot of trouble with the civilian deal. They had a lot of trouble in Bosnia. It's been documented that they went in there, massacres, atrocities, rapes, and everything. Would you say that the Serbian army is an undisciplined force that pretty much does what they want to do? Would that be a fair assessment?
First of all, you have to draw the lines. Yeah, I would say that the Yugoslav army is generally very disciplined, but when you get to ragtag units that have been operating, for example, in Bosnia, it's anybody's guess. It's the feudal kingdoms over there.
It is. I believe that the Serbian army and the police force are brutal people, because I've never seen any other army go in and start burning down towns. I don't know why they're burning down towns or raping women or slaughtering people and putting them in ditches. So to me, that's a Serbian army, and I'm saying to myself, these guys are killers. They're not fighters, they're killers. These are civilians. So now I'm President Clinton. I'm watching this big machine roll into this Kosovo, and I've been there, as I said. This is a rural area.
I've been there too.
It does not have an army. They are a bunch of guys running around screaming, we want to be freedom, but they're no threat to invade anybody, okay? They're going to get just crammed right into the ground and slaughtered. So you're telling me that we should watch that happen?
They're not getting slaughtered. Unfortunately, there are horrible killings which must be condemned on all sides. But the point is, the Yugoslav army went in there to protect civilians who still respect the Yugoslav government.
That's what the German army said in 1938 or 9.
Yeah, the German army
when they rolled
invaded
into Poland.
You know, we're doing that. Just like NATO's doing today.
We're going in there to protect the Germans, and when, you know, it was 1938. We're going into Poland because the Polish are, you know, come on. You got this huge force, the Serbians, rolling into Kosovo, killing people, and we're supposed to stand there and say, go ahead.
Yeah.
You know?
No, but let me ask you this. We did in Waco, Texas. Does that count? Would that also count as a massacre? I mean, every state has the right to defend itself and protect its sovereignty and borders, and to protect itself against terrorism. You have yet to acknowledge that the Kosovo Liberation Army is a terrorist army which has been funded, supported, and received weapons from Albania. Okay, so the point is, Yugoslavia is trying to fight terrorism. I'm not saying they're doing the right thing.
I know. They're trying to keep the province in Yugoslavia when it's 90% Albanian.
It's not 90%.
Yes, it is. That's the ethnic breakdown.
No, if you look in beyond the American media, you look in the Times of London, you'll find different numbers.
Let's take a break, but that, according to the ethnic breakdown that we have in the encyclopedias, is what it is, 90% ethnic Albanian. We'll be back with the doctor in a moment and hash this around. And then, who's paying for Hillary Clinton's trips? We'll find out. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We continue now with Michael Pravica from the Serbian-American Alliance of New York. Just for your frame of reference, 50,000 Serbian Americans in the New York area, and you're telling me 250,000 in the Chicago area,
Yes.
and well over 1 million in the United States, I'm
Absolutely.
sure. So I know there's a fairly big Los Angeles contingent. Now, part of the problem that and you made a good point. I mean, the American media is hammering the Serbs, but part of the problem is their leader, Milosevic, who is a butcher, and I don't think there's any debate about that. The man is not a reasonable sort. He is a guy who would be tried as a war criminal if not for, and he's not even been elected over there. He's a dictator being propped up by the army. So when you have a leader like that,
actually, technically, he was elected.
Yeah,
but,
technically,
okay,
but
there were questions with the election.
You and I know what kind of election that was. You know, the guy rules by the bayonet. So when you have a guy like that, it's very hard to feel sorry for the people who follow him.
Well, first of all, let me point out that about 2 years ago, in 1996, the winter, there was unprecedented, as I believe in the history of mankind, demonstrations against Milosevic, led by the students of, starting with Belgrade and then the different cities, which really did have a chance to unseat Milosevic. They were challenging some election returns that they believed that there was a mayor of Belgrade who was with the Democratic opposition who had been elected, and then it was nullified.
Right.
So at that chance, we did have a chance. Our country had a chance, and we worked very hard to work to support the Democratic opposition, which is what I still think we should do, and we always have.
So you're not a fan of this guy?
Not at all. I'm not saying I'm a supporter of Milosevic. I believe he and all of the former, the leaders of the former Yugoslavia in all of the republics need to go and need to be replaced to find true reconciliation.
But see, there's the problem, and therein lies the problem, is that you have this guy, right? And then you have the police. Oh, boy. And I agree with you that not all Serbs are bad, and I'm sure not all Serbian soldiers are committing atrocities. But it's sanctioned. It's sanctioned from the very top. And whenever you have that, and then you have America sitting by going, hey, we got to do something here. And you got 18 NATO countries, as President Clinton said, there's no dissent at all. And I think if you were in the White House, you would do the same thing.
If I were in the White House, I would first of all ask myself what conflicts are so severe that they really need to be treated with bombs or some sort of action. Oh, yeah. And I can tell you of conflicts in Rwanda, Burundi, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and for example, Africa, many other places, the Basque separatists in Spain, Northern Ireland. Are we going to go and intervene and bomb these countries?
There's a measure of defense that you have to apply depending on the situation. We stood by and let the Rwandan slaughter happen, okay?
500,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was more than 1 million in Cambodia. We did nothing.
Right.
We did nothing.
Yeah,
those were mistakes.
Yeah.
They were mistakes.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
We're the super police power. We can't allow these people to do these things because ultimately that leads to chaos all over the world. And then we're looking around and then we got a big problem. Now, I say, go in, break the Serbian army's ability to do any damage, which can be done, as you know, from the air. I believe firmly that we can break that army's back from the air. So let's do it and not stand by and watch this slaughter. And then after it's done, then work it out. You know what I mean? Work it out, but stop going in and burning villages and killing women and children.
Well, first of all, I of course agree. We've got to stop. We would like to do something, but when you intervene on behalf of one party in a civil war, you never totally resolve it. And I will say right here and right now that the Serbian perspective of this conflict has generally not been discussed, and I do appreciate you bringing me on to try and discuss some of these issues. But the point is that it is wrong for us to intervene in the civil war. There are atrocities on all sides, and if you think that I mean, look, I agree that there's going to be some destruction of Serbia, but as far as when you have ground level, we're not doing anything with the ground.
No, I think you could break that army. And well, from what I know there,
the Nazis invaded Serbia in 1941.
Different thing.
They tied up 30 or so divisions in Bosnia and Serbia.
We don't want to put ground troops in there.
Auschwitz Republic was the only independent
Absolutely.
that ever freed itself from the Nazis. So I'm not saying it's going to, I don't think it's going to be that easy. And if we're going to put in ground troops, just be prepared for the casualties.
Listen, I wouldn't put in ground troops, and I don't think it's going to be easy, but I don't think we can stand by and watch these people be slaughtered. Doctor, thanks for coming in. And you're always welcome here. We always want to hear the other point of view whenever we have a story like this. And straight ahead, the travels of Hillary Clinton. Just who is picking up the tab? We'll give you a hint. You know that person very, very well. We'll be back with that story as The Factor continues for you.